Hello, Salvadoran Warrior, in to tell you about an update that happened recently. If you've been keeping up with Genesis, you would notice that the point system has changed yet again. And there's been some small changes with Hecahands and a little bit of small changes with the Monarch deck that I hardly play now these days. And finally, there's a deck that I made, which I will do separately once I take it to locals. Only because I feel like it. And, finding a Genesis tournament was such a pain in the butt to where someone kindly told me of this one spot in Glendale. And by the time I went to this spot, I was really happy that we had 10 people show up, so that way we can get some games going. Shout outs to Legacy Comics in Glendale for hosting the Genesis tournament every Sunday. Throw in your $10 and see what happens. And of course, parking is free around that area because it's a Sunday. So I just thought I'd give a little quick shout out to that. And let's just jump right into the updated decks for Hecahands and Monarchs. This is a double feature. So if you notice, I reduced Yaddle in this deck to 2 because I need to make room for this guy. I'm just gonna call him Man. And Man was interesting because I couldn't really activate his effect because I only drew 1 and I had other Hecahand cards that I wanted to bring out. And the reason why he's so important is because he was my fusion target to get into this new card, Dandalos. However, I was thinking about running 2 Tartaruses, but as I thought about it, I'm removing them from play, and I don't want to have to add another card just so I can put things back in the graveyard and do it again. That's not me, man. I'm not gonna do that. And with that aside, when I went to my locals, I noticed a lot of things. Since hand traps have become expensive to run in Genesis, people had totally just given up and either run really cheap alternatives or back row hate, or just back row in general. And I kind of figured, you know what, this would be a good time to add some back row hate. And the back row hate that I'm going to introduce you to is Harpy's Feather Duster. We're going to run 2 of these guys, and I think it's going to be really awesome to draw it and just give them the surprise, because this deck alone can play through a lot of interruptions. Even if I got hand trapped, I was still able to play through it. And the only thing that stopped me was their back row. So from learning that, I figured I would run 2 Harpy's Feather Duster because I can afford it. And the reason why I can afford it is because this card used to be 33 points. Now it's just a measly 20 points. Guardian Chimera, you're now the GOAT. You would have been asking yourself, well, if that was the case, why don't you run a 3rd Nightmare Apprentice? And you know what? That's valid, but I end up going with these 3 cards. When I was at my locals, Forbidden Chalice was becoming the clutch card for me. And with it, I figured, you know what? It got reduced to 1 point. It's no longer 5 points. So I run 3 Forbidden Chalices in the extra deck. I mean, the side deck. And I'm going to run 2 Forbidden Lances because, well, there was a deck that really pushed my shit in, and a guy next to me was just going, well, if you activate Forbidden Lance on this guy, he won't be able to do anything and he'll just end his turn. So I figured, you know what? Forbidden Lance, 1 point. Also, this card, it will be used, alright? I just never drew it against that Exceed player or Synchro player, but it will be used, I promise you. This card, however, it did things. But I might take it out for Twin Twister, since Twin Twister doesn't really cost points. Yeah, it's free. So I might do that. Discarding one card. I'm not sure if I'll have cards in my hand to do that, but I'm going to give it one more try at my locals and see what happens. Now, let's move on to the next deck that I'm willing to talk about. So here's a deck that I haven't seen in a long time. And by the time I realized that the points went up, I had to quickly look at my Monarch deck. And yeah, this card right here went up by 5 points. Too good. I get it. You know, I truly get it. It is a good card. It allows you to search, and with no hand traps. Well, there's still some cards out there that will hand trap you and stop this combo, but still, you know, this is something that worries me sometimes. But still, since it's good, yeah, of course they'll put 5 points on this dude. So I had a, well, he still remained at 3. It's just I had to take out Cosmic Cyclone because that was 13 points, and I had to change the side deck because the cards that I added in here also costed a lot of points. I forgot what the whole thing was, but all you need to know is that I want to play around with this card for a bit. And I also want to add 2 more Harpy's Feather Duster. Hell yeah. Thankfully, these cards haven't gone up in points. I'm running 2 Dark Ruler No Mores because why not? Dark Hole is another 1 point, so that's good. And everything else is still free. These 2 Monarchs are only used for master plan targets. And then I thought I use something a bit spicy. See this card right here? Synchro Control. This is only for synchro cards in general, or if I end up double adding 3 Lunar Eclipse and 3 Synchro Control. Yeah, Exceed and Synchro Controls. I mean, Synchro cards will be screwed if I draw it, obviously. So here's how this works. Synchro Control allows me to activate it if I have no synchro monsters on the side of my field or graveyard. I pay 1,000 and I select one of the synchro monster cards and I take control of it until end phase. Now, this can be used for a lot of things, right? I can use it to interrupt something, or if I really need to sack something next turn, Synchro Control will be it. So there's a lot of factors that comes along Synchro Control. That reminds me, that spell card Soul Exchange got up to 13 points. That was the reason why my points exceeded above 100 points when I revisited, just to see what I can do. So yeah, that was the alternative. And of course, hey, TrueNate is still free. Don't tell Konami that, but you guys are free to try it out. And yeah, you know, this is basically the Monarch deck, still running 42 cards. I'm adding more back row hate, and of course, you know, 1 Strike of the Monarchs. Why only 1? Because it's a dead card if I have everything set up on the field. I feel like this is like a winning more card if I decide to send it to the graveyard if I draw it, or I don't know, whatever. I might take it out. Who knows? I don't really know, to be honest. But yeah, this is the deck. This is Monarchs with the domain strategy, and I could add Solemn Judgment, but if I were to take out this card and take out Strike with the Monarchs at the same time, I can technically add those 2 counter trap cards. Or I could add that Thunder card. Let's see, because I know that card got reduced on points as well. 3 points. And it's also a counter trap. And it's also a good card. So there's that too. So there you go. My experience with locals at the moment has been rekindled, and we'll see what happens, man.